They found it, right? Yeah, I knew. I knew they were gonna. I saw it. I saw it in Mediterranean like 3 months ago. I was there. I was scuba diving. I saw it. And I told my boys, I was like, is that the little city of Atlantis? Like, because I knew that, like, I was like, our scientists wasn't found this? Because I was like, I knew that was Atlantis the whole time when we went. And you could see it from, with goggles. I saw it. I was in the Mediterranean. I was like, bro really found Atlantis.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, a fine network. It's Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. It's day 3 for my pumpkin pie Pick Em Payoff. Let's give you a look where we stand heading into day 3 action.
Could it be the last one?
That's me, and that's the pie. Yes. Could it be the last one, Tass? That's an interesting question. There's what, a third of the pie left?
Yes, approximately.
Yeah. It's like, how badly do I want it today?
Right.
You know?
So you don't have to do it tomorrow.
I know.
You gotta dig deep.
I know. A part of me would love to put this away today. But, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot of pie. So let's at least, whip it up halfway there.
At the same time, if it is a third left, it's kind of what you've done in each of the first 2 days, right?
Yeah. So we're going to try this.
Wow, you're just
a lot of whipped cream here.
Just freelancing with whipped cream down.
I know.
I feel like you had a strategy and now you just got lines everywhere.
Just going crazy. I will admit I had like weird like pumpkin pie dreams last night, which is never a good sign. I know you've eaten too much pumpkin pie, but here we go, day 3. And as I get into my first bite, JD, we had Wedgie number 10, and it was Keegan Murray getting the block on Jalen Green. Tass.
Great defense by Keegan Murray to hang with Jalen Green and stuff it. First one we've seen in a while.
It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you. But that was a nice block.
45.
I mentioned, I think, last week that Jalen Green gets blocked at the rim a lot.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah.
Add another one to the list. I think that might be his 13th time getting blocked at the rim and our 10th wedgie. Beautiful.
Still had a good game after that. Still chipped it in. But tough one there. Keegan Murray. He's a good defender.
Sorry, I'm not adding much to this conversation. I really attacked the pie this morning.
You're hitting it hard.
Yeah, I've realized the pie needs to be afraid of you. So I need to come a little more aggressive with this. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Need more eating. Need more wedgies. Pace is only 45.
I know.
Bad. That's really bad.
Drastically slow.
It really has slowed down, but that's okay. Wedgies come in bunches. Let's get into the NBA Cup. The quarterfinals are set. We had 5 spots in the 8-team bracket that were clinched last night as group play concluded. We're going to talk through some of the more notable games, but no reason to bury the lead here. Your knockout round matchups next week are in the West, number 1 Thunder hosting the number 4 wild card Mavericks, and then you got the number 2 Rockets hosting the number 3 Warriors, because the Warriors lost last night there to the Nugs. The West quarterfinals of the NBA Cup featuring 4 newcomers to the knockout round. Gotta like that. We're gonna have fresh Vegas blood, baby. Yeah. In the East, it'll be the number 1 Bucks hosting the number 4 wildcard Magic, and MSG gets a knockout game. The number 2 Knicks will host the number 3 Hawks. So let's get into some of those games last night. Let's start in the East. We'll then move to the West. But the big game that all eyes were on, Tass, was the Knicks eventually rolling to win East Group A against the Magic. But the Magic maintained the wild card spot. I mean, this is a weird night when you think about it, because you're not only watching results, but then you're like getting into point differentials. And you're like, oh my God, the Magic, like, they can't lose by like 36, 37. They got to get back into this game. And they did enough there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the point differential was pretty funny listening to that all night long as the broadcasters had to recite these point differential lines. Maybe I was having pumpkin thoughts as well, because I was thinking about the Orlando Magic going into the quarterfinals and thinking, watching Franz Wagner and a 30-point performance, awesome from him, while he was getting smoked by the New York Knicks. I was thinking, this is in a way a blessing that Paolo Banchero has gone out, and Franz Wagner has had to take on this new role of being this number one guy, because if they want to go anywhere in the playoffs, and this team looks so strong defensively, they need something offensively from Franz and to be that number two guy. So he's had to take it on, and he was awesome. Going at OG Anunoby or whoever they put on him, he looked so good. At the same time, the team that looked really good was the New York Knicks offensively.
Oh, my God.
They looked phenomenal.
They're the number one offense in the league now, under Tips? I think so,
yeah. They're definitely the number one offense over the last 10 games, and maybe more important, they are, I think, 17th in the league on the defensive end of the ball. End of the ball? That doesn't make sense. Defensive hemisphere of the ball, but they're 17th. They're not going to be a great defensive team, right? They're not going to finish top 10, but if they can be in the 15 range, somewhere in the middle, that's going to be good for the Knicks, and they definitely look better. Franz was good, but OG was definitely making him work. 10 for 22 from the floor from Franz, so a good night, but not a crazy night. But then the perimeter players for Orlando just really couldn't pick up the slack, I didn't think. Jalen Suggs, 5 of 16. KCP went 3 of 7 from 3, and Anthony Black had a rough one. 6 points, 4 turnovers, just looked a little rattled to me. So, yeah, the Knicks were good enough on offense. The score looks even better if the Magic don't come through with a clutch fourth quarter point differential, 31-16 for them. Still ended up being a big-time Knicks victory, but they have figured out their offense totally. The pick and roll with Brunson and Towns is basically unstoppable right now. Towns was just doing bits last night.
Oh, yeah.
Had that post up on Mo Wagner, bumps him again, stops, looks at the ref. Hey, no foul? All right, fadeaway jumper. Awesome. This guy's got the craziest
That's a
post-up
hezzy, man.
faces. That was so good. He threw the pass to the corner with his left hand, spun around. I don't even think the guy made the shot. He finished with 0 assists, even though he had that crazy tip to Mikal Bridges at the end of the quarter as well. But Towns is playing great. Brunson is playing great. They've got a decent enough defense right now, and eventually they'll get Mitchell Robinson back. They'll get Precious Achiuwa back. Maybe they're able to make a move at the trade deadline as well. Good stuff from the Knicks.
Yeah, and the clear favorite against the Atlanta Hawks next week in the quarterfinals game as the home team. They're still playing at home in the quarterfinals. They're still playing in these cities before they go to Vegas for the semifinals. So obviously they're rolling, and I was in Vegas mode, I guess, watching the Orlando Magic as well. The 3 German players, 20 of 40 last night for the Orlando Magic, because you got both Wagners and a De Silva, so 20 of 40. Bet German money in Vegas. I don't know. Maybe they'll, if they do get there, they're obviously the underdog as well, I would say, going into Milwaukee for that game. But anyway, that was a smoker.
Oh, yeah,
that was a smoker.
The only thing that was interesting was it did briefly look like the Knicks could sort of throw things into chaos when they were up by 37 points against the Magic in the third quarter. And like that would have been, if that sort of difference had stood, it would have been enough to eliminate Orlando, and suddenly the Celtics would be going on as a wild card. But yeah, Orlando, Wagner got them there in the fourth, chipped away, and then it looks more respectable, and they move on as the wild card team. Let's talk quickly about the Bucks, because they destroyed the Pistons as well, and that was a game that whoever won it was winning that group. Milwaukee did. They take Group B. They're the number 1 seed as we went over. 128-107. Giannis nearly perfect. 10 of 11, and Dame was pretty damn good too.
10 of 11, and unfortunately started 10 for 10. Ooh, that's a kicker. Missing the last one, but Giannis was awesome last night. He had 4 or 5 mid-range jumpers. I've talked about how much better he is this season. Last night he's shooting them like with the leg kick out, as if he's Kobe Bryant. So comfortable getting into it. He may have even shrugged after the last one he made in the third quarter. I couldn't tell if he was just like celebrating or going for a full MJ shrug on a mid-range jumper. Kind of odd, but still, he's shooting 48% on mid-rangers. The league average is 41. He takes the 4th most per game, and he's shooting the 8th best percentage. He's basically DeMar DeRozan from the mid-range, and that guy we talk about is the best mid-range player in the league, alongside like Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. Giannis has been that guy right now. Then you throw in Dame looking really good. Dame and Giannis have scored 25 or more points in each of the last 3 games. Both of them have 20 plus in each of their last 5 games. This is clearly the best they have looked together. They're working together more often. They're finding each other in the pick and roll. They just seem to have figured out their chemistry after, it's taken a while. It's taken 16 months or whatever it is, but they seem to have a bit of a rhythm here, and the Bucks are looking tough. I'm loving what I'm seeing, especially from Giannis.
They are definitely playing together, and they still are amazing at isolation ball and isolation times in games. You see Dame in this game hit his first 3 buckets of this game, where it was just literally isolation ball. He just felt so good, and then Giannis comes out in the second half, a monster in that third quarter. 14 points in the first 6 minutes of that quarter, and 3 of those were mid-range jumpers. And then he had a pump fake 3 that somehow Isaiah Stewart bid on. How do you bite on a 3-point shot from Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is really weird. So he goes to the line for another one. That just felt like the most even performance by the Bucks this season of 48 minutes. I mean, they really smoked. They didn't have to play 48 minutes, but it really felt like just like a full performance of them. And speaking of that, Chris Middleton, rumored to be coming back very soon, as our Eric Name reported that it should be coming very, very soon. Who knows if it comes before their quarterfinal game. But I do think he comes in for Andre Jackson Jr. in that starting lineup, because Taurean Prince will be that 5th guy beside our guys, Giannis and Dame and Brook. How can he shoot what he's shooting from 3? I was surprised to see that he's shooting 56.6% from 3, leading the league at 3-point percentage. Yeah. He's taking 4 per game, so he doesn't take a ton. He has to, mandated to take 4, and that's basically about it. And he banged home 4 of 4 in this one. So he's going to be the 5th starter beside Middleton, Brook, Giannis, and Dame, I assume. And Doc loves his old guy, so how could he not be? But I can't believe he's shooting that well.
I couldn't believe it when I saw your tweet last night talking about Taurean Prince leading the league in 3-point percentage. I was like, what? Is that
That's
right?
That's a high percentage.
There's actually only 4 guys that are over 50% from 3. Quick little trivia. Obviously, Taurean Prince leading the way at 56.6%, like you said. You had named the other 3.
Is it Dairy Milk, his teammate?
No, it's not. No, it's not Dairy Milk. But he's very close. Green. He's very close. He's 49.5.
AJ Green was leading it for a while.
He's 5th, AJ Green.
Okay.
I'm going to have to give you some hints.
Yeah.
One of the best players. Well, hold on. Probably the best player still in the NBA.
Jokic.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Jokic. 52% from 3.
Just doesn't take a ton, I guess.
This guy we talked about through the first, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks of the season, because he was playing lights out. He's still playing really well. We're talking about his all-star case. Can he make it? He's never made one.
Norman Powell?
Norman Powell, still over 50%.
You're right.
At 50.7.
Nearly a 50-50 guy. Yeah.
And then this guy, I'd have to check how many threes he's actually taken, but he has been the come-out-of-nowhere player of the year, where you're like, holy crap, this guy plays 20 minutes a game and has had big performances on one of the best teams in the league. He attempts 3 a game, so it's not a lot, but he's shooting over 50%. Short guy, guard. I think he's out with an illness right now, I want to say.
PP? Not PP?
No, not PP.
Yeah.
No, not fast PP.
He's out with an illness. One of the best teams in the league.
Yes. Well, in fact, record-wise, the best team in the league.
Karis LeVert?
No, not Karis.
Oh, Case and Wallace?
No, not Case and Wallace. Yep, 19-3.
Sam Merrill?
Cleveland Cavaliers. No, the other white guy.
George?
No, the
Niang?
other white guy. Is he white? I don't know. Now that I say that.
It ain't Isaac Okoro.
Why are we missing?
You guys have named every guy.
It ain't Max Strus. He's hurt.
No.
Who's the other guy on the Cavs? Dean Wade?
No.
Who's the white guy that we're missing on the
He's a shooting guard, obviously.
Not Sam Merrill. I said him. Not Ricky Rubio. He's gone. Mark Price?
No, Ty Jerome, guys.
Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome is shooting
Sneaky.
50% from 3.
Sneaky.
Black Dragon Roll himself.
That's right. That's right. So the East quarterfinal matchups, just to remind you, are Magic at Bucks and then Hawks at Knicks. Of those 2 games, which one intrigues you more, TK?
Come on, son. Hawks at Knicks.
Trae Young in Madison Square Garden.
Trae Young in Madison Square Garden. Elimination game.
I'll eat pie to that.
Shushing them up. I can't wait to see that. You know that the Knicks still hate Trae Young, even though that series was nearly 4 years ago. That he was going off in the Garden, but Trae had some great performances in big games against the Knicks. So I'm looking forward to that one. Magic Bucks could be an ugly one, or it could be an awesome game. Who knows? But Hawks Knicks, I think, is going to be a classic.
Great call. Yeah, that's the one. I will be cheering for the Atlanta Hawks, just so we can see them in Las Vegas. Why not?
That's interesting.
Would you rather?
Because why? You could go see the Hawks 41 times here in Atlanta.
Yeah. number one, I'm not doing that. Number two, you get to see them in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Whoa! I get free tickets to go see them in Vegas.
You can get free tickets here, man.
Yeah, you can go. You can
true.
definitely go.
Yeah, would you rather see the Knicks, just see the Knicks in Vegas, just because they are the Knicks and they'll be filling out the arena more?
I'm going to tell you,
fans?
the NBA is probably praying that it's the New York Knicks moving on, not the Hawks,
sure they are.
for that game that they'd be playing in the semifinals there. But yeah, I guess the NBA would want, you would want Bucks at Knicks.
Yeah.
Instead of the other two. That's what they'd be
Absolutely.
pulling for ticket sales. I don't know. People in Vegas, they go to anything. They're like, what else are we going to do? Especially in the winter. It's not like you can go sit by the pool all day. All right, well, there's a game on. You want to go see the Magic play the Hawks? They're here? Yeah, they're playing at the T-Mobile Arena. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people are going to be doing.
That's what people are going to be doing.
Last
Man,
year.
I hadn't thought you can't sit by the pool. Disappointing.
I don't think so.
I don't know. The
It's
temps.
pretty frigid.
Yeah, they want the biggest of the names. There's no doubt. Whether it's Knicks Warriors in the end or
Right.
whoever. Last year they had the Pacers out there. Speaking of the Pacers, we haven't even talked about the Toronto Raptors. Seeing Scotty Barnes with a career high against the Indiana Pacers.
Here's the problem with the Cup. When we get to the final night of the Cup, I feel like all the other games don't count. And
game
they don't
didn't matter at all.
I know. It's so weird. And I
Yeah.
know that's like so dumb to think about because it obviously counts to your record. Barnes was awesome. There's some other great games. But if they didn't have stakes when it came to the Cup, I was like, meh.
If your team has been
weird.
eliminated before the last night of group play, you shouldn't be able to use your court. So people
I
know
like
this game
that.
doesn't count. This game is just a standard regular season game.
That's a good idea.
But I'm about ready to cross off the Indiana Pacers here.
Yeah.
They're a disappointing
Yeah.
team, man. It is
Extremely
easy to
disappointing.
score on them. Scotty Barnes was on fire. The jumper was money. I thought that was really why he got to his career high, but he was getting wide open looks, knocking them all down, and then anytime you put the ball on the floor, he'd be able to get to the rim. Basically no problem. The Pacers are a bottom 3 defense in the league, and they just don't look the same as when they caught everybody by surprise at the beginning of last year during the Cup. When they kind of made their bones. So really poor start to the season for them.
Yeah, you called it at the beginning of the season, Trey, that they really didn't do anything in free agency to improve them, and then they come out and are extremely disappointing. I would take the Toronto Raptors in a series over the Indiana Pacers than the Pacers against them. They just don't look as good. They don't play as hard. There's no question they look like a bad team. Tyrese Halliburton came out after the game and called out his team, essentially.
It was well timed because he had a good game.
Yes.
I noticed that.
Well, he did.
Got a good
He had
night's
like
sleep.
a 30-point game. He was on fire, actually. But then you're right. He did call out the team. And somebody needs to. I mean, I guess it sort of had a little bump back for Anthony Edwards with the Wolves, like your lead player.
Sure.
Hold the team accountable. Hold yourself accountable. But you're right.
There's no doubt. Yeah, the Raptors look. I thought, Scotty Barnes, he got some open looks driving, but he was doing it against Siakam at times, shooting over him, going through him. I know the league would rather see the Knicks than the Pacers in the finals in Vegas. But one thing that they don't want to see is all these coaches that were mad last night, including Rick Carlisle. After the game, Rick Carlisle said, they're not trying to just stop Halliburton. They're trying to hurt Halliburton. And then you had Steve Kerr that we'll get to, furious over what's going on. Draymond Green, luckily, was not playing in this one, or else he may have gotten involved. He just had a sad face when Kuminga
was so
followed
funny.
Jokic. Yeah, this is very funny. Or Ime Udoka.
I was going to say, Udoka also went off, didn't he?
Oh, he went right at John Gold. He may get suspended for that.
Yeah.
He went after him and got kicked out of the game. So he had mad coaches in December.
mad
The NBA
coaches.
Cup, man, cranks up the intensity, baby. I want that money. Do coaches get paid? The bonus?
No.
They should.
A bonus? No.
You don't think so?
They don't get a medal. They don't get bonus.
I know,
man.
but you don't think the coaching staff gets any bit of this money?
Commemorative quarter zip, perhaps.
I guess we get a trip to Vegas. That's sort of fun.
See the Hawks play there.
Tickets to one of the what's the Michael Jackson show called? All the coaches go sit front row.
It's not called Is This It? This Is It? Michael Jackson.
So you look it up.
Is this good?
It was
No,
Is
what
This
is
It?
it?
Is a stroke.
Michael Jackson Vegas show. What the hell was it called?
The Beatles is love.
This is it?
This is it. That's
that
what
it?
it is, right?
It's called One.
This
maybe.
is it.
One? That's a record.
Here
That's
I am.
I think it's
all of
called One. Michael Jackson One. Yeah.
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 Hey, if you want a good Michael Jackson fact, listen to the new episode of Is This Good?
Yeah.
Honestly, a mind-blowing Michael Jackson
Oh,
fact.
yeah. That's nice.
That blew my mind, JD.
Yeah. Michael Jackson won by Cirque du Soleil, I guess is what I should say. It's at the Mandalay Bay. We went and watched it. Our buddy Grish, your buddy Grish, my buddy Grish, he fell asleep during it. Now, I think that was too much Vegas fun. It wasn't because the show wasn't entertaining, but I mean, he was passed out for like 20 or 30 minutes. We're like, whoa, look at the glove. Look at the glove. It's going everywhere. I'm like, look at it.
Check the glove.
Passed out. He saw it again, though.
Really?
Yeah. He went and saw it again.
Don't go to any of that, man.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Hey, they're playing music outside. I'll go.
Okay, let's talk about the West Cup date, because this was entertaining with what was going on there in a couple of these groups. The Thunder beat the Jazz 133-106, and about 45 minutes later, they learned that they were advancing to the quarterfinals because they needed the Spurs to lose, and they did. But we can start quickly here with OKC. I mean, it was a bit of an ass-kicking there against the Utah Jazz. What are you laughing about?
Why do you want to talk about this game? They spanked
What do you
them.
mean? It's one of the best teams in the West, in the league.
And the worst team.
Yeah, man.
Guess what? The
was
best
awesome.
team won. I thought the most interesting thing from Thunder Jazz and Sun Spurs is that Kevin Durant rolled his ankle playing against the Spurs. He left in the second quarter, didn't come back for the second half. He obviously just got back from a calf strain. I don't know how long he's going to be out. You could assume maybe a couple of weeks. It's a sprained ankle, but maybe he's tough and he just comes back right away. It didn't look like a drastic one where they're like having to crutch him off or take him off on a wheelchair or anything like that. And the other thing was that Jeremy Sohan looked like Cesar Romero Joker.
Yeah.
With his bright green, sort of long hair.
Yeah.
Interesting look. He had a nice game. 14 points, 12 rebounds.
Okay. Those are your notes from Thunder Jazz. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and I thought it was cool when he pulled out a gun and shot it, and it just said "pow" when it came out.
So Sun Spurs, Suns beat them 104-93. You said the KD injury, but unfortunately for both those squads and their fan bases, they're both eliminated because of what went on in the really entertaining game. And quite frankly, a weird game between the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. Mavericks rallied late to beat the Grizz 121-116, and they earned the wild card berth. They were down 15 in the fourth. They were down 111-103 with like 3.5 to go. And they stormed back. They were helped out by the fact that they were in the bonus,
Oh my goodness.
4 minutes into the fourth quarter. They shot a ton of free throws, and there were some dumb fouls by Grizzlies players, and the Mavs were a kind whistle, I thought. But anyway, weird game, and then it was Dinwiddie splashing some threes in transition, then PJ Washington, and suddenly the Mavericks, win and are in here as the wild card. Just an insane game.
They won, and they had to win, I think, by 4 was
did.
what they were saying on the broadcast last night to actually advance as the wild card. And not only was this a cup game, this was our pick 'em game, and I was thinking, easy cover here for the Grizzlies. They were up 12 with 8:35 left. Over the next 7 minutes, they went 1 for 11 from the field. The one make was a Ja Morant three-pointer, and he thought he missed it.
Yeah.
He followed it as
Yes.
if he was going to get the offensive rebound. Like you said, 4 turnovers, just dumb ones. They got a steal, and Ja Morant catches the outlet pass out of bounds on the sideline. 10 fouls turned into 26 fourth-quarter free throws for the Mavericks. Some of those are like a technical. Some of those are, the bonus right at the end of the game when you're trying to play the foul game. But a lot of free throws. Certainly a lot of free throws for the Mavs. I thought it was mostly legit fouls, except for the Grizzlies then should have been getting similar calls.
Jaren Jackson got hammered once.
He got hit in the head, shooting a layup underneath by, I think it was Lively, right? Like, bump, hit in the head, missed the layup. Didn't work out. They were outscored 22-5. I said the Grizzlies are back. Unfortunately, Grizzlies back also means their half-court offense can be pretty bad. I thought part of it was the defense from the Mavs. PJ Washington did a great job on Ja Morant. Like you said, Dinwiddie was hitting big threes, but it just looked like the Grizzlies couldn't get the ball inside, and Marcus Smart was going insane in this one. He also was back. I've been talking about how well he played on our winners and losers on Monday. I forgot he was basically a Grizzly, but he had a couple of 20-point games. Really good stuff. Last night, 0 points, 0 for 7 from the field. 6 assists, that's nice, but also 3 turnovers, and the dumbest foul on Luka Doncic. Grizzlies were up 3, fouls him underneath the Grizzlies basket, 90 feet from the floor.
And he hacked him.
He hacked him.
Yeah.
He hacked him. He knew it right away. He also saved an air ball onto Luka. He said he thought it was tipped.
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was. But
Everybody's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
he stepped on the out of bounds line before he even saved it. Just dumb stuff. Dumb.
And then there was a challenge by Jenkins and the Grizzlies when it went out of bounds, and it was like, whose ball is it? But now the rule is, well, if the refs decide there was a foul on the play, they can actually call that. And they're like, and it was tough to see at first. Like, it took me a couple replays to go like, oh yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. was hooking there. So then they call a foul, and that resulted in more free throws. And like, they shot 26 free throws in the fourth quarter, Tass.
Oh yeah,
and they missed a lot too. Like they were,
the skin Wade roller coaster. The Mavs are missing all these free throws. He's like, this is making me very upset. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, he said, I've enjoyed the last 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
The Mavs started making free throws, and the Grizzlies could not score.
And there was the stretch when it looks like they weren't going to make it into the knockout round, and then they hit all these threes, and like the Mavs broadcast, they were like just laughing. They were literally just laughing for like 50 seconds of like how crazy the place was going and how quickly the game turned.
That was a real weird game.
It was weird.
Yes.
Because I can understand Jeff Skinwade's roller coaster. The Mavs looked like crap the entire game. In the third quarter is where it started. They had 10 turnovers in a quarter. That's hard to do. They got outscored 38-22. They didn't hit a three. They were 0 for 7 in that third quarter. So the Grizzlies just looked awesome.
Yeah.
Midway through the fourth, it looked like, wow, this team is hard to play because midway through the fourth, they had played 11 guys at least 6 minutes. I mean, that's why they can play the fastest pace in the league. They just go out, and no Zach Edey even in this game. And like Morant had 23 at that point. They're up 10. It wasn't like Morant had taken over this game, but then they just blew up. You guys mentioned a bunch of those things where Marcus Smart fell out of bounds with the ball in his hands. He fouls Luka Doncic the other side. Your coach challenges something but ends up getting a foul called against you. Yeah. Such weird stuff. Although at the other side, Spencer Dinwiddie, who closed the game with those big shots, was Jason Kidd making a great move. Beside Luka and Kyrie, they said, hey, you're playing over Clay, over Grimes, over Kleba if they wanted to go a little bit bigger. And he came through. And I think long term, I don't know how the Mavs continue to start Clay beside Luka and Kyrie. You look at the numbers; they ain't all that good. It just seems like Najee Marshall or Quentin Grimes is going to start in Clay's place. Anyway, besides that, just a weird ending. Although Derek Lively, I felt Jaren Jackson Jr., but he was just so good coming through with boards and blocks. He was awesome, and he's a great passer.
Lively and Washington's energy, like, really, I thought won them this game.
Yeah.
I know the threes were huge, of course, from Dinwiddie there. Like, again, he was sort of wide open stepping into them. Yeah. But just the energy from those two, like you said, just like ending possessions with the board, just hitting the ground. PJ Washington, like, getting wrapped up with somebody and just screaming. It like, got the crowd back into it as well.
Totally.
They're like PJ Washington is a glue guy for them, essentially, when you're playing with Luka and Kyrie, and he comes through. But I thought the glue guys for the Memphis Grizzlies, who we never talked about, have we said Brandon Clark's name once this season?
Probably not.
No. But he came out and he was just guarding Luka even. Luka was taking it to him, but he just does a great job at defending, setting screens. He just goes to the hoop for offensive rebounds. Taylor Jenkins deserves Coach of the Year votes. There's no doubt about that. Playing so many guys who are able to just do those little small things, like even Marcus Smart coming off the bench. I'm sure he doesn't like it, and he does dumb things. He was, a miss shot after shot, make dumb moves, but to be playing this many guys, and especially John Morant, you'd think with this, how this team is playing extremely well, you think John Morant's taken over the team. He ain't even close. No. He's taking 3 fewer shots per game than last season, by far his fewest since 2021, only playing 27.7 minutes a game. And he was scoreless in this first quarter. It doesn't matter. The team is still good because they're playing so many guys doing extremely well. So TJ gets some votes, and he gets a quarter zip, even though he's not going to the quarterfinals. just because. I just wanted to say.
Quarter zip for the quarterfinals. I like that, actually.
So the West quarterfinal matchups are Mavs at Thunder. Like, OKC is the number 1 seed in the West after all the stuff that happened last night. That's the 4-1, and then it is Warriors at Rockets. And a part of the Thunder getting the number 1 seed was those other 2 teams, and the Warriors and Rockets, both losing their games last night. And again, in fashion, that got their coaches upset. So these are some pretty interesting matchups here, I think, in the knockout round.
Playoff rematch, Mavs at Thunder.
That's right. Is that your favorite of the two, or are you locked in on both of these, TK?
These are both going to be awesome. Yeah. I mean, Mavs and Thunder is a great game. The Mavs are a pretty solid defensive team as well, and we know the Thunder are the best defense in the league, one of the best defenses we've seen ever, basically. They played a great series last year, and you have to imagine that the Thunder will be a little bit smarter about the way they approach this game. Warriors and Rockets, it's not a playoff rematch, but it is a trying to get into the play-in tournament rematch from last year. Remember, the Rockets went on a crazy streak at the end of the year trying to butt their way into the 10 seed, but I think it was the Warriors were able to pull it off. So should be good. Warriors-Nuggets was a wild game.
Yes. Go ahead.
Minor cup implications because this losing the game means the Warriors are playing on the road against the Rockets, but these are two teams that to me are in kind of similar spots. They've got an offensive superstar surrounded by a bunch of question marks, and it kind of played out that way. I thought Warriors-Nuggets last night. Steph Curry, the only positive starter for the Warriors. He was a +5 in a 4-minute loss. Nikola Jokic, a +23 in 40 minutes. So the Nuggets were a -19 in the 8 minutes he sat. And every time Jokic would check back in, it looked like he was just pissed. He had to get him back into this game. He's like, you blew my lead? How dare you? But then he always got him back into the game. The Dubs are up 7 with 2.5 minutes left. Steph Curry had just made a layup, and the Nuggets outscored the Warriors 11-0 down the stretch. It was Jokic dancing and shooting a floater over Buddy Hield. Jamal Murray gets a nice steal, pushes it full court, gets a couple of free throws. Gary Payton misses a 3. Jokic, sure, why not? I'll just take a jumper. Hits the front of the rim, and it somehow curls forward over it. Amazing touch on that one. Curry misses a 3 because he had to chuck one up. It felt like Jokic finds Gordon cutting for some free throws. Jokic then on the other end blocks Kuminga. Warriors retain the ball. Wiggins tries to make a move, slips, falls, turns it over. Jokic is the last man back. He's standing under the rim, beats everybody down the court, gets fouled, goes to the free throw line, knocks him down. That's when he got hit in the face, and it cut to Draymond Green. You know he was pissed. He's like, I should have hit him in the face. It could have been me.
Yeah.
But great stuff from the Warriors, and you see the way that great stuff from the Nuggets, but the Warriors, it was like, if Curry wasn't making the threes, like if he didn't hit that step back 3, that was the only chance they had because Kuminga just couldn't get it going. If you got to dribble it twice, it's tough for Kuminga to score. If you got to dribble twice, it's tough for Wiggins to score, and you saw that last night. They got to do something because they lost 5 straight here. They're playing on the road. And they just look like the strength in numbers thing ain't going to work because numbers 2 through 13 can't do anything with the ball.
Yeah, they missed Dre out there to some degree, but Jokic would have torched Dre as he has in the past. And Jokic he was MVP Jokic last night. I mean, he was ridiculous. To play 40 minutes, he's playing by far the most he's ever played in his career, is a need for them. He just has to play. And then he took over in the second half, and he was hitting mid-range shots. The mid-range ain't dead. The good players have to hit them, and he was doing it. And Stan Van, as you said, that ball that just went over the rim, Stan Van was saying, wow, he has got incredible touch. And it is true when you watch it. Yes, it's so freaking soft. And they know how to beat the Warriors. This one team knows how to beat the Warriors. They've now beat them 8 straight games. And it was great seeing Aaron Gordon back for Jokic just to have some help. He's been out for a while, and he did come through with some cutting dunks and all that. But Jokic realized that Jamal Murray still ain't the same guy, even though he had a nice block against Kuminga. He still isn't the same guy. Jokic had to take over. The dude had 5 steals. I mean, he almost had as many steals as he had assists, with only 6 assists in this game. I know we all say, he can't play defense. Or we don't say that. A lot of people say, he can't play defense. What he wants, he turns it on, and now he has to turn it on for the Warriors to be anything. Although I will say the last thing about the Warriors going up against the Rockets, Draymond Green could be back for that, and we saw what happened with Tari Eason nearly getting into it with a fan yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the recipe for a battle.
Some fireworks.
Some fists next week in the quarterfinals. Yeah, because there's a lot of feisty guys on the Rockets, plus Draymond Green.
Just back to Jokic and those crazy on-off numbers. To me, it's like Jokic is as like us playing Tetris with like a child. And what I mean is like you're playing Tetris, you're good at it, you're keeping that board low, you're killing it. That block goes there, that block goes there. And you hand the remote control to like a child, and it's like they're just dropping them everywhere. It's like, no, you're supposed to make lines, and it just starts building up. Like, give it back to me, I'll clean this up. You can go to work, you use the little T there, let's slip it over there. You thought it couldn't go like that. And then it's like you hand it back and it just goes up again. It's like, God, he has to do everything. Help him out. It's a square block. Just put it on another square block. It's not that hard.
Kids still playing Tetris.
I don't know. It was just a weird analogy that popped into my head when Trey was going over those crazy on-off numbers.
Puyo Tetris, is that a thing? I think there's a game called Puyo Tetris on the Switch that we have. It's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
They're battling each other.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So the NBA Cup quarterfinal schedule. Let's give you the actual dates and times here because we do know this.
Oh, yeah.
And here it is by way of the official NBA account. And all these games, well, actually, actually, I should say 3 of the 4 games on TNT, 1 game on ESPN. But Tuesday, December 10th, we start with Magic Bucks, followed by Mavericks Thunder. I thought I said Mavericks instead of Magic, but I didn't. So Orlando, Milwaukee, Dallas, OKC. Those are 7 and 9:30 on Tuesday. And then the following night on ESPN, it's Hawks in New York to take on the Knicks, followed by the Warriors and Rockets on TNT.
The only games in the league, those 2 nights.
That's right.
Nobody else playing.
Oh, that's another funny part about this whole
What a
thing.
wrinkle.
Is like the schedule comes out for all of the teams that didn't make the knockout round and all the games that they have to then now play.
We added 2 games today.
What's so weird?
We're going to play basketball for a month and a half here.
So Mike Vorkanoff of The Athletic wrote, I saw in like their live blog last night, quote, I think the best thing to come out of the NBA Cup is the concept of point differential. It has made these games more fun and added more stakes to meaningless action. It's like the NBA found a way to keep people paying attention in a blowout without having to make them bet on it. I was curious if you agreed with Mike's sort of stance there, and the point differential hilarity of all these Cup games.
I do like the point differential hilarity.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. It was a factor in the Mavericks win. It was a factor in the Knicks win, even though they still pulled off the win, but the Magic were able to lose by enough that it mattered. So yeah, it definitely keeps you entertained until the end of the game.
Yeah, there's an extra minute where you're like, okay, well, what's the score going to be?
Yeah.
What is plus minus going to evolve here? That's about it.
An extra minute? No, I mean, I have to admit, at one point last night, I'm looking at the Magic Knicks going, what are you doing, Orlando? Like, you had a plus 60 coming into the night. You're going to, like, really blow this here and, like, let the Celtics backdoor their way in here. I mean, I got a little concern. Now, it's tough to keep a 37-point lead. I don't care who you're playing. Like, you sort of always were ready for the Magic to, like, sort of chip away and do enough. But I don't know.
It's for the hardest of cores.
Yes.
I don't know.
Guilty.
Nobody really cares as fans, I would say. Like,
About the point differential?
I guess yeah. I mean, only
they
when the
care.
broadcaster is talking about it late in the game. That's all. That's the only time they really care about it.
Okay, but
They're still
these
playing.
games had more juice to them than a normal early December game.
Well, the NBA Cup
Right.
is
Yeah.
Cup is a huge positive.
Okay.
The point differential part of it is
You don't care as much.
it's okay. Maybe it's like a plus 0.5. Maybe it added a little bit of strength. Not much. I don't care.
Hold on, now I got to keep a point differential of your bonus points for how much it
Yeah.
matters.
Plus 0.25, actually. I take it back. 0.5 is too high. It's fine. It's fine.
It is, yeah. I mean, Mike then went on to say that he'd like to see point differential incorporated into, like, making playoffs and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know about that. We're going to get too many numbers maybe at that point. Too many games and stuff like that. He's saying instead of tiebreakers as, like, head-to-head, even though it is still, he wants point differential to be much higher in terms of tiebreaker situations than I think it currently is. It's like 5th or 6th, like, down the list of, like, did this happen? Did this happen? Did this happen? When you get into tiebreakers for the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't need to go that far, Mike.
I would
works
have
for
it
this.
behind head-to-head matchup.
Okay, you want it bumped up then? Okay.
Sure, but higher than conference record.
right.
Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah, I think net rating is more important. You would just do net rating more than
Point differential, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's the difference then? Why wouldn't you just say net rating instead of like point differential game to game, team to team versus team? Is that
Well, net rating is
Maybe.
per 100 possessions, right? Point differential is just
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you have to then throw out the other conference? Is it only against your conference when we're talking playoffs?
Yeah,
There's that
is
wrinkle.
it part of the head-to-head teams? Listen, those things were hard to follow yesterday.
Oh, the West was hilarious.
So I don't know if anybody really cares.
Did you check out, it was on the app and obviously on the website, NBA.com did have, like, live standings
Oh yeah,
nice.
of,
Smart.
like, who was in and the point differentials, like, as all the games were going on, and then, like, every 60 seconds it would refresh. That was sort of cool.
That's a very good point. You know, I take back my plus 0.5 because when I did look at that, they were factoring in literally every basket that was happening at that moment.
Yeah.
That they were going up plus whatever. So that is, as a hardcore geek fan, you look at that and it is interesting. So it is a little more interesting. A little more. Yeah.
Okay. JD, come on over here. Let me give you an update on the pie.
This is looking nice.
'Cause
Oh,
we
what's
have,
the plus minus on the pie?
Like, we've really hit, I'm, like, basically down to one slice of pie. I think that's fair to call it that.
That's a Thanksgiving slice right there.
Yeah. Now,
have a big one.
because I have no point at the end because I ate the middle of this pie first on Monday. But I think it could be done. It could be done, but I want to talk about the all tournament teams. Talk or eat, that is the dilemma. But let's get some. Let's get some whipped cream on this anyway, because we'll do that part at least. Yeah. I wanted to go through.
We got the nutrition facts on that whipped cream. I saw that up close.
Wow, I'm sure it's not good.
Look at the numbers on that.
Yeah.
Only 20 calories. I found out on Thanksgiving that heavy cream and heavy whipping cream are the same. In case you were wondering.
Tell me more.
I don't think there's much more to add. It's the same product. But look, here's what they're doing in grocery stores. You go to Kroger, you go to a Publix, you see all the bottles of cream. But on a Thanksgiving, idiots like me who don't know better are in there shopping. So they just put the word heavy on there. Because they know you're looking at the recipe and you're looking for it to say heavy cream. I still had to text my wife to make sure that heavy cream and heavy whipping cream are the same. So just look at the word heavy if you're buying cream. And that's my cream facts for you.
Hey, tell me about your favorite grocery stores.
Favorite grocery stores?
Yeah.
If you're talking just snacks or frozen food, it would be Trader Joe's. If you're talking closest to my house, I would say Walmart.
Interesting.
If you're talking about a better selection of wines and liquors and beers, I'm going to Kroger. And if I want a sub sandwich, Skeets, I'm going to Publix. So I'll do all of them.
Thank you.
I bought my cream at Kroger.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You see me
it like $5.
I was shoveling that in. Holy moly.
You're a bulldozer.
We're down to let's
You crushed it, bro.
let's call it, I don't know, 6 bites left maybe? Something like that.
You were a Scoop Jackson right there. You're just scooping it in. That was hard to do.
That guy was cooking,
I
man.
haven't said it was Kroger cream, Publix, pubs. Gotta have pubs.
Okay. First off, I just wanted to give this little update because we were talking about monetary value to these winning teams and stuff like that. In addition to the actual NBA Cup trophy, there is a monetary reward. So the prize pool is estimated to be, for the championship winning team, $514,000 per player. Losing championship team, not bad. $205,000. You can get yourself a watch with that.
Okay.
Losing semifinalists, $102,000 for each player, and then losing quarterfinalists, $51,000. It's pretty funny.
51,000.
It's like 51,497.
Yeah, it goes down to the dollar.
Yeah, I know.
It's got to be a tax thing. That's weird.
Was this part of the BRI? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know where. Who's paying for this?
Because last year it was
The
they were around numbers.
The Emirates.
It probably is.
Yep, they got it. Don't worry.
They definitely do.
You could raise the prices.
Yeah, just round those up then.
Yeah.
So the NBA also announced an NBA Cup MVP and an all-tournament team. LeBron James was your MVP last season.
Yes, he was.
I know. So there's obviously a few games left, and the stakes get higher here as we hit the knockout rounds. But I thought it'd be fun to talk through who might be making the NBA Cup all-tournament teams. And I said teams. I pluralized that. We're doing 2, baby. True sicko style. They only do 1 when it actually comes to the all-tournament team. My only rules right now for deciding who was on the teams through the group play, player must be on a quarterfinal team. Okay? So apologies to De'Aaron Fox, Jokic. The other rule was player had to have played in at least 3 cup games. That was just a cutoff. You had to play in at least 3 of the 4. I guess Jokic also wouldn't have made it for that reason. He only played in 2. I also tried to make my teams here, the old 2 guards, sort of 3 forwards formula. So, with that said, my NBA Cup all-tournament first team. I actually didn't have much problems making this. This came pretty easy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 30.5 points per game through 4 games. 7 assists, 5 boards, 2 steals, shooting 50%. And they're the number 1 seed there in the West. Good stuff.
Sweet.
Luka Doncic, only 3 games, but he's averaging 31.3 points per game, shooting splits of 52, 37, and 67 at the line. He was laughing last night when he missed those final 2.
Yeah.
It's what the hell's going on? Yeah, weird. 8 boards, 5 assists, 3.3 steals through the Cup group games from Luka there in the 3. My forwards, Franz Wagner, In 4 games, 30.5 points per game, 7.5 boards, 6.3 rebounds, 2.5 steals, shooting 51% of the floor. After I looked at it, I was like, damn, it's like basically doing what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's doing. Franz Wagner. So he makes the team here, especially with the Magic advancing. Mm-hmm. And then my power forward, if you want to call him that, whatever, Karl Anthony Towns. In 3 games, not scoring as much as these other guys, but 21 points per game, 13.3 rebounds, nearly 2 blocks, and really strong plus-minus numbers. So I got Catman in there. And then Giannis is the final big. 3 games, Giannis averaging 29.3 points per game, 75% from the field. 7 boards, 9 assists, 2 blocks. Now, he has a lot of turnovers, but, man, those are pretty impressive numbers, and we talked about him in the MVP race, for crying out loud, yesterday. So, Shai, Luka, Franz Wagner, Kat, and Giannis.
Good.
Sound solid?
Yes.
Yeah, for the first team.
Yep.
Second team's a little more fun if you're sticking with the same rules. I was torn on the guards. I thought Damian Lillard was a lock, actually. He played in 3 games. He scored basically just as much as Giannis. He's hit 16 3-pointers, shooting 50% clip from deep, so that's pretty impressive. And then I went with Steph Curry just over Jalen Brunson or Trae Young. I wouldn't be upset with any one of those guys being your second guard. I went Steph. I know it's sort of like the numbers are not like Steph godlike MVP numbers, but man, the guy's still he's like 39% from 3 during the cup play and stuff like that on a whole bunch of attempts. The 3 forwards, Jalen Johnson for the Hawks.
Okay.
He's averaging 20, 12, and 7 through the cup games. Good efficiency and nearly 3 stocks when you jam stocks and blocks together. And then my other 2 bigs, I went with 2 Rockets. Alperen Şengün, averaging 19, 9, and 8. So scoring not as high as some of these other guys, but really good defense as well. Rockets are through. He's just, I want to say he had 2 triple-doubles in group action. And then this one caught me by surprise, but I'm putting him on there, and it's not just because I'm a homer. Dylan Brooks, 63% shooting from deep in the 4 cup games. Holy crap. So he's been pretty instrumental. Obviously made some big plays too in some of these games. So I went with Dame, Steph, Jalen Johnson, Şengün, and Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is like the 3 in that situation. Anyone I'm missing there that jump out to you guys?
No love for DeAndre Hunter. What a surprise.
Fair enough.
I don't know his stats. I just know I saw him play one great NBA Cup game live.
That's true. No, he's been good.
Yeah, I like it. I like the inclusions. Maybe you would include Taurean Prince. He's never lost an NBA Cup game. Undefeated with the Lakers last year.
Wow.
Undefeated this year with the Bucks.
Okay, respect.
And he's shooting 50% from 3, 56% from 3. So I'm sure his numbers during Cup games
are pretty good. Yeah. No, that's
Bucks.
interesting.
Take the Bucks to win it all. This guy's the new Norris Cole, man. He just wins ships, right?
New Norris Cole.
Who would be your front runner for NBA Cup MVP? Who's been the best of probably some of those guys I named for the first team? I mean, I guess the Bucks are undefeated. The Knicks are undefeated. Those are the only 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you have to pick from one of those teams? Or do you go, a Shea or a Franz or something like that?
Giannis or Shea, probably.
Okay.
I mean, Giannis' competition, though. I'm not sure if this factored into your teams.
It didn't, no.
No, it shouldn't. But they played the Pistons, the Heat, the Raptors, and the Pacers.
Oh.
Literally 4 teams that may not make the playoffs. Maybe. I mean,
Okay, that is a low. That is not the group of death.
That's a great point.
But then you could say Jalen Johnson, monster, playing against the Celtics and Cavs.
Yep.
And some bad ones there. Bulls and Wizards.
Yeah, Bulls beat them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was the Hawks. What a weird group. They beat the Celtics. They beat the Cavs. They lost to the Bulls and beat. That's a weird team. Weird thing that's happening there. Did they lose to the Bulls in this competition?
Yeah.
But they've lost to the Wizards twice this season.
Yeah.
They're 3-1 in this group.
Yeah,
How
they
are they
beat the
3-1?
Wiz though. They just lost to the Wizards.
Oh, they played them 3 times
not
already?
Cup games.
Yeah.
They played them 3
They
times.
may have played them back to back in October, like the last week of October.
Yeah.
I think.
They played them,
It
really.
was like the 2 good games that the Wizards have played.
It
Literally
is.
the 2 good
It is
games.
a little odd that we don't have the Celtics or the Cavs into the knockout round, and despite being clearly the best teams in the Eastern Conference for the first quarter mark of the season, but Hawks did it.
Yeah, the NBA Cup schedulers are happy. those guys can be in the playoffs and fight for the NBA Finals while you have other teams playing. They're happy.
Very nice.
That's
Very
a
nice.
good point.
We had some news yesterday, guys. Paul Millsap retiring from the NBA after 16 seasons in the league. Shams of ESPN was the first to break this. The 4-time All-Star was the number 47th pick in the 06 draft by the Jazz. Quickly became a really dependable scorer, pretty good low post defender, especially here in Atlanta. Like, his game really took off, made a bunch of all-star teams here. Millsap walks away from the game as one of just 8 players to ever total 500 threes, 1,000 blocks, and 1,000 steals over their career. So Paul Millsap officially hanging it up.
And look at his face when he was told about that stat.
He's like, whoa, man.
Me?
God damn.
That was also my face when I was watching Paul Millsap highlights yesterday and remembered that he was part of the Hawks squad that had the mismatched jerseys. Red top, black shorts. Weird look, but Paul Millsap was pretty good here in Atlanta. 4 seasons as a Hawk, 4 All-Star appearances, won a Player of the Month award, had to split it 5 ways. And I think he is maybe one of the new Hall of Very Good guys, because you're seeing these highlights back, and I'm like, hey, there's Al Horford. He's definitely a Hall of Famer now. Won an NBA championship, has extended his career playing longer than Paul Millsap has. Obviously has the 2 championships at Florida as well. Horford's probably getting in. Paul Millsap, I doubt it, but he was a very good player. So he is a Hall of Very Good representative for me.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that probably won't be remembered 20 years from now. When you discuss, who's the All-Star that you'll never remember? Like LaMarcus Aldridge is part of that sort of discussion.
Good one.
Who's a better career than Paul Millsap? Paul Millsap, just 4 All-Stars. Yeah, with the Atlanta Hawks, all with the Atlanta Hawks in every single one of his seasons. I forget that. You think, because you always remember Paul Millsap as a member of the Atlanta Hawks, that he played longer than 4 years. But he was with Utah way longer. He was such an undersized guy that just wasn't athletic enough. Like, even in his Utah days, I flash back. My highlights go to a guy that would pump and be able to hang in the air just long enough to scoop it in. But he was so undersized at power forward, and was part of that Hawks front court that was also undersized, him and Horford, and couldn't go and win. But he just played so hard. I couldn't believe that he got Defensive Player of the Year votes and was on an all-defensive team. That was shocking to me looking back at what he accomplished. But he is 16 years, played a long time. But you forget about it a lot.
Yeah, because you do think of him as a Hawk more than probably a Jazz player, even though he was there for a long time. I had forgotten he was a 47th pick, going that deep. It's a hell of a find for an incredible career. And I'm with you. I wrote down Paul Millsap finished 5th in Defensive Player of the Year in 15-16. That was the year Kawhi won. Draymond Green was 2nd, and then it was like Hassan Whiteside and DeAndre Jordan, and then Paul Millsap got some votes, but he made the all defensive second team.
Yeah, it's
and the Hawks were really good defensively that year. That's why he got the vote. Yeah,
and Horford got some too.
And man, they had a really good year where they won 60 games. But then ran into LeBron James and the Cavs. I mean, that was probably his best chance, obviously, to go deep.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was so unfortunate for Paul Millsap. His whole run with the Hawks was during the LeBron era.
What's Paul Millsap's greatest highlight?
Man,
I watched a dunk reel of Paul Millsap, and I was happy to see that. I saw his best dunk live. It was back when the Hawks had like the caramel court, before they had switched to the triangle look. He's got a big dunk on, I don't know, he goes by Rasheed Wallace. Maybe it's on Brandon Bass.
Okay.
This is an SD clip I'm talking about here, but he really cocks it back and jams it.
I think his best highlight, and this was completely forgotten to me until I did a little research yesterday. It's no Tracy McGrady, 13 in, 33 seconds? Mm-hmm. But Paul Millsap scored 11 points in 28 seconds versus the Heat. Do you remember this game, way back in the day? He never took threes and then hit 3 threes and then another bucket off a weird rebound to score 11 points to push the game into overtime against the Heat. In the final, again, I'm talking 28 seconds of the game. They went on to win the game too, incredibly. I think it was 2010. It was against Miami Heat.
Man.
So that's, I don't know. I was like, wow. And in watching, I was like, oh yeah, we talked about this. I do remember this game now, but it's never talked about with the McGrady performance of 13 and 35 seconds. What is it?
33. I think
33.
You're right.
Okay, I had it right. Okay. Anyway, so Paul Millsap, 11 points in 28 seconds. Do you remember?
Where were you?
Where were you, man?
LeBron James 12-1 in the playoffs against Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
My guess is that Millsap probably got a win with the Nuggets.
Yeah,
That
not with the
would have to be
Hawks.
my guess.
No.
Yeah.
They kept spanking them. Wasn't Corver like 0-16? No, it was probably just 0-12.
It was a crazy run. They went on.
Yeah. I remember the 15-16 year. That was a good year when the Hawks were rolling and they had that 5 player of the month, and the Warriors came here, part of their 73-9 season, and I say here in Atlanta because that was a packed stadium. It was super duper fun. That's what I remember.
That's your last Hawks game?
Last time you got free tickets.
Why were you mad because I say I want to watch the Atlanta Hawks in Las Vegas and not here in Atlanta?
It's a little odd. I just wouldn't want to. I mean, I won't be upset if the Hawks are playing, but it's like you can go see them. Don't you want to see other teams?
Yeah, no, I've never seen another team before.
Okay. Okay. Well, we've never seen a game in Vegas. In fact, we've never even been in this arena.
So true.
We were
Seen
supposed to.
summer league
Well, we
games in
have
Vegas.
seen games in Vegas.
Like 6 or
Not
billion
in
of
this
them.
arena.
not in
different
the
that's
sight
where you were
lines.
going for.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
We almost went to a UFC event, but it was ending when we tried to get in. A little too
We
late.
were dumb.
Yeah.
We didn't know the time zone difference.
No, we forgot about
Oh,
the time zone difference.
MMA fights start at
Well, it's weird.
5.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, too early.
It's too early for fighting.
Yeah.
Those
Good
are
for
loving-
basketball, though.
Those are loving hours.
Started early, right?
Yeah.
1:30?
Yeah, that's right. All right, pick 'em game last night. I did have the Mavericks. I was the one guy that had Dallas, and holy crap. Like you said, TK, earlier, it was like, "Bro, that's a loss for me." And then suddenly, no, it's not. And I get the victory. They covered. They won by 5, so it was a 4.5-point line. So what's tonight's
That was
game?
wild. A strange one. The Orlando Magic going into Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia 76ers are 3.5-point underdogs. And because the Orlando Magic are so good and Embiid is out, I figured you guys would all take Orlando. Why wouldn't you? That line seems way too small. And going on BetMGM, that's why everybody is on Orlando. So I took Philly. You guys all took Orlando. I knew that going in. It's just a strange line. 3.5 points. Now Joel Embiid didn't play yesterday. There's rumors that he could be playing tonight. But Paul George, he played yesterday, so he's not playing tonight in a back-to-back. So it's a strange that I would think the Orlando should be a bigger favorite, but at the same time, I guess it is in Philly because Philly just got by Charlotte yesterday in a super close game.
Yeah.
So this line seems small.
Yeah, okay.
But
so
Embiid also out yesterday for knee injury management and personal reasons. You don't see that.
he's still
too
trying to
often.
find the snitch.
Well, they're I think
Still working the case.
I think the Sixers are trying to say, get off us. He's got 2 reasons not to be in the game. Personal reasons. Does he have personal reasons? I don't know. Don't ask. We need a snitch.
Hopefully
We need
everything's
another
okay.
snitch, I guess.
Hopefully everything's okay. Well, I've got exciting news here. I can't even talk anymore. The close. Something happens to my tongue. Somebody was
man's
saying.
tingled up.
Yeah. It makes it difficult to talk. We are down to the final bite.
The last bite.
In the end, it took me 3 days to eat the giant Costco pumpkin pie. But dare I say,
Yep.
I'm pretty proud of myself.
Days 2 and 3, you were on fire. Like days 2 and 3, you were shoveling it down.
I feel like Kobayashi. Let's sing some karaoke, boys.
Obla di obla da.
So here it is. Final bite. Everybody knows the rules. See you later. Pie. I will never have pumpkin pie again in my life. I'll tell you that. I'm over it, but goodbye.
Wow. Ready. JD's ready.
Celebration, baby.
JD was ready on day 3.
That is done.
Check the advanced stats.
That's
1.21 pounds
Do you need me to
per
lick
day.
that? I'm not, but woo!
You ate a pound of pie per day.
How, man. I was feeling a little sluggish at
Wow.
hoops last night.
Now
I'll
you're
tell ya.
scraping the.
Yeah,
the
now I
bottom of
love
the-
it.
the
I
tin.
love pie.
Imagine it changes your life completely. You're just a pie guy, obsessed.
Yum. Get the heck out of my face.
Chicken pot pie for dinner?
Get out of here. I think the hat was the worst part. All right.
Oh, you had a hat under the hat. Didn't realize.
Whoops. I'm like Poochie right now. Poochie says recycle. Okay. Tomorrow. I'm going crazy. Tomorrow we got a guest coming on. Thank God I'm done that pie. David Aldridge, Hall of Famer David Aldridge, is coming on to talk about the Basketball 100. This book is available to buy now. I think this makes the perfect Christmas gift for that basketball loving sicko in your life. I'll make sure to add that to the show notes for you to go grab the Basketball Monitor. But we'll talk to him about the book and the rankings and what's going on in the NBA, and obviously get into tonight's action as well. Pie done, gentlemen.
Bye-bye, Pie.
Until tomorrow, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Poochie says recycle. I had to look up Poochie. Poochie got around, did he not? He was on The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's where he's known for.
But he was on, to me, he looks like he could, Itchy and Scratchy?
Well, that's what the joke was.
Oh,
He was a
joke.
part of the Itchy and Scratchy on The Simpsons. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he didn't get around that much.
No. Recycle, everyone. Embrace the day.